meant to ask you this before. We didn't talk to you last week. Tevin Coleman. We asked Coach about him returning kicks, and obviously he's hurt right now. But what went into that whole process of putting him back there and getting him to return some kicks?
Well, I think Sala told you a lot of what happened, and I had studied him coming out of college, and we had talked about it back in training camp, like, hey, we got to try to get Tico back there and see what he can do, because he was very, very effective in college, and he's got all kinds of juice, and he's got a run skill, and he's tough and breaks tackles and everything like that. So that all kind of went in the decision, and approached him, and he was a team guy and bought in, and he did a heck of a job for us.
Do you think that he could do that, once he's healthy, obviously, and just kind of be one of the guys that's in that rotation?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that, if you think about it, that's his first game that he's done it, in a long, long time. So, I thought he did an outstanding job. I think that he provides an element of speed and toughs that not many people in this league have. He's got a heck of a package, right?
Yeah.
So.
With Braden getting closer to coming back, has Morstead, the way he's performed, kind of made this potentially a tough call for you guys because he's punted well?
I think we'll cross that bridge when it comes, but Thomas has done a great job, and that's the great thing about having a veteran like Thomas in, and you can have those conversations, and when those conversations have to be had and stuff like that, I think that everybody's men in our room, everybody's really open. It's just a decision that'll come down the pike, and we'll see what happens with him being a veteran guy. It affords us a little extra time to get Braden fully healthy and everything like that. And I think that we'll see how it shakes out when it happens, right? You're good.
With a bigger picture question with punting. It seems a lot more teams are going for it on fourth down. So, as a special teams coach, is there kind of I don't know if it's a cycle or like a phase maybe where teams are kind of not punting as much and trying to go for it? And do you think that's kind of something where punting might become even more specialized than it even is now?
I think there's different rules, schools of thought, so to speak. So I think there's like the old school that, that coaches off a feel and everything like that. And then there's the analytics side, which, they coach off of numbers and everything like that. I think there's a place for both, I really do. And I think they're both valuable to have a really good feel on your team and stuff like that, and how the pulse of your team and stuff. That I think that's critical for a coach to have, and if you're going to do it in certain areas, and if you're not going to do it in certain areas, and it all depends on your offense, your defense, all those factors go into it. Your special teams, how the unit is. All those things go into the analytical side of it and the number side of it, and when you're supposed to go, and the percentages based and stuff like that, and that's kind of what you base your decision on. I guess from what I understand, right? I just get out there when they tell me to punt it. So have our guys out there and hopefully do the best we can, right?
So you don't see that as something that teams are going to be moving more away. It's more based on personnel and situations and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if you can put your thing on just one. Put your thumb on one thing and say this is why certain people do this and certain people don't. I think some buildings really believe in the analytical side. Some people, are more old school in certain organizations. I don't, who knows what? Like I said, what's right and what's wrong. There's probably not a wrong answer there, right? But it all depends on what you're dealing with and the situation that you're put in and everything like that. I think all those factors have a lot to go into that.
We've talked a lot to Mike and Robert about the first quarter scoring and the first half scoring, and Amendola had a chance there to end that shutout streak. Do you have to talk to him at all just to kind of make sure he's okay, because with that miss?
I think as a coach, you put your arm around anybody that struggles in a first play, and that's, as a linebacker, if you miss a tackle in the first series, you can't let that just wreck your whole game. And it's no different being a kicker or a punter or a snapper or anything, quarterback, whatever position you play. I think that the mindset that has to be built is the repetition and repetition and repetition and repetition that you take all the time. And all that goes into effect. And if you have one bad play, you can't let that totally just have your mind can't blow your mind, and next thing you know, it wrecks the whole entire game. People, I think that's one of the things that you put your arm around somebody and you talk to them and say, hey, buddy, we're going to come right back to you. We believe in you, and let's roll, and that's kind of how we approach it,
With Cincinnati, what's their special teams unit like? What have you seen in the return?
I think they're very well coached. I think they have two dynamic returners. They've got a very, very physical, core unit. A bunch of bigger physical guys. They have really good gunners. I think it's a really good test for us, and we'll see where we're at here.